Let's stop right there. The UN was caught last week. The mainstream news, we covered it here. AP, Fox, you name it, covered it. They went out and hired socialist and communist scientists and got them to lie. And now NOAA's been caught. NASA's been caught. The government research centers in Australia, in Canada, in England, they've all been caught. They tell you polar bears can't swim, folks. They tell you penguins can't swim. They tell you the Arctic melted. It got bigger. They just lie. There's hundreds of thousands of climatologists and hydrologists and meteorologists. They went and hired 600 people on government payroll. But it's not communism. The low levels are communist. They believe it. They believe they're lying for a good reason. It's the banks. They want a monopoly. Don't you get it? It's serfdom. It's slavery. Let's just go back to her. She's so sick. Here it is.
Climate, to the assimilation of satellite data, to emissions from crops that produce biofuels, which is what I happen to study. And in each one of these research areas, of which there are even more, there are PhD students like me, and we study incredibly narrow topics, things as narrow as a few processes or a few molecules. And one of the molecules I study is called isoprene, which is here. It's a small organic molecule, probably never heard of it. The weight of a paperclip is approximately equal to 900 zeta illion, 10 to the 21st.
See, they're going to tax everything.
Molecules of isoprene. But despite its very small weight,
thousands of molecules, just a total raping.
Every year to equal the weight of all the people on the planet. It's a huge amount of stuff. It's equal to the weight of methane, and because it's so much stuff, it's really important for the atmospheric system. Because it's important for the atmospheric system, we go to all lengths to study this thing. We blow it up and look at the pieces. This is the U4 smog chamber in Spain. Atmospheric explosions or full
methane's always been released by life.
Than what happens in your car.
Methane's part of the atmosphere.
We run enormous models on supercomputers. This is what I happen to do. Our models have hundreds of thousands of grid boxes calculating hundreds of variables each on minute.
We know about those computer programs.
To perform our
we
integrations.
now have copies of them.
Dozens of integrations in order to understand what's happening. We also fly all over the world looking for this thing. I recently joined a field campaign in Malaysia. There are others. We found a global atmospheric watchtower there in the middle of the rainforest and hung hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of scientific equipment off this tower to look for isoprene and, of course, other things while we were there. This is the tower in the middle of the rainforest from above, and this is the tower from below. And on part of that field campaign, we even brought an aircraft with us. And this plane, the model BA-146, which is run by FAM, normally flies 120 to 130 people. So maybe you took a similar aircraft to get here today. But we didn't just fly it. We were flying it 100 meters above the top of the canopy to measure this molecule. Incredibly dangerous stuff. We have to fly on a special incline in order to make the measurements. We hire...
Just all a bunch of flim-flam. Look, I'm a heroic chick. I'm like a superhero. Look, science. Methane from cows. It's evil. I mean, these people are taking over everything. It's a complete sick joke. They're parasites. They like running your life. They're control freaks. Don't you understand? There's always people that want to dominate others. And that's what's being set up. A criminal world government with a couple thousand scientists hired by the UN. We have their internal documents where they go hire people for their agenda with the big banks, with the insurance companies, with the oil companies, all in this together. Now, I don't know if this woman's a useful idiot, but the point is a lot of these scientists, the top scientists, all the main top scientists from Holdren on down have been caught in the emails engaged in fraud. We're going to come back and finish this clip, and then it goes into, hey, you saw that. Now let's talk about tracking your cars. That'll fix traffic. Doesn't it sound reasonable? We're going to tax you and track everywhere you go. We're going to run your life. If you'll just let us micromanage everything you do, we'll make your life wonderful. We're the government run by big corrupt banks. Notice all the SWAT teams and cameras around you. Notice the CPS grabbing everybody's kids. Notice everybody dying on your street of cancer. Isn't it fun? Take the shots. They're good for you. And then they all write these internal white papers about how they want to kill us. We're going to finish this clip, then play the winner of the Berlin Film Festival again that shows humans as a parasite. This is what they really think of you. They want you deader to doornail.
This is Big John Lipscomb. World government and all its tyranny is rapidly approaching. The choices you make today will determine your level of suffering and freedom tomorrow. I have 2 solutions for you, so you and your family can stay strong and free. PatriotFood.com. 135 pounds of long-lasting dehydrated food in 25 varieties. That's 1/4 the cost of many freeze-dried offers of the same weight. And SurvivalistSeeds.com, where I just released my best offer ever. 7,000 heirloom vegetable seeds, 30 varieties of vegetables. That's over 4 pounds of seed, and I ship it in a time capsule so they will last decades. And now you can get a second for a $60 savings. PatriotFood.com and SurvivalistSeeds.com. Anything else is just a copycat.
Are you tired of out-of-control, irresponsible federal deficit spending? Increasing the money supply without increasing productive output leads to inflation. You get less for your money. If you want to protect the buying power of dollars for your future, then call Peter May at Midas Resources, 800-686-2237, extension 135. You've worked hard for your dollars. Don't let the government strip their buying power with wasteful spending. Gold has a 5,000-year track record as money. Real money you can count on. No government-backed paper currency comes close. Ask me about the protection of private gold. Call Peter May at Midas Resources, 800-686-2237, extension 135. Central banks from around the world are stockpiling gold. They know gold is real money. Call Peter May at Midas Resources, 800-686-2237, extension 135 to discover the advantages of private protected gold.
Hundreds of nations have fallen to tyranny in the last century alone. This is our last chance to not relive history.
As we're finishing off this agenda, they'll be pulling the rug from underneath Americans at home.
They have tremendous influence on our president and Congress, and they really are calling the shots.
I think it's incumbent upon all of us as American citizens to pay attention.
Fall of the Republic identifies the enemies of our nation, the criminal offshore cartel, hell-bent on destroying sovereignty, and on its ashes constructing world government.
Tim Geithner, Bernanke, they're arsonists. They're asking for more matches. And the Congress is saying, who do we make the check out to?
Today seems like nobody does care. And right now in Washington, D.C., we have seen a fall of the Republic.
Get your copy of Fall of the Republic on DVD at Infowars.com or watch it online right now in super high quality at prisonplanet.tv.
Of the 3 million plus edible food plants that grow on Earth, no other single plant can compare with the nutritional value of the powder, seeds, and oil of the hemp plant. At hempusa.org, we ship worldwide these nutritional products with free shipping to the U.S. and Canada. At hempusa.org, we want to educate our listeners that edible hemp is not marijuana and is certified THC-free. Our powder is 50% protein and does not contain gluten. Gluten impairs the cells from absorbing nutrients. This nutrient-dense food can be stored up to 5 years when vacuum-packed and is priced affordably to be used as a storable food. HempUSA.org is a bulk shipper starting with 5 pounds and up. To allow this food to work for you, call 908-691-2608 or go to hempusa.org and order today. The body will react and heal itself given the proper nutrition. This superfood will be your greatest asset. So try it today, store it today, and change your life. Call 908-691-2608 or order from hempusa.org.
In Copenhagen, Denmark, right now, world government being established. Your phone calls coming up at 1-800-259-9231. I'm going to break down all the giant developments, more leaked documents, and Lord Monckton went and got the latest version of the treaty. Financial taxes, oil taxes, power taxes, global government authorities over all air travel, you name it. I mean, it is just unbelievable criminal power grab. But back to the Al Gore-funded propaganda, here it is.
Pilots to do the maneuvering, we have to get special flight clearance. And as you come around the banks in these valleys, the forces can get up to 2 Gs. And the scientists have to be completely harnessed in order to make measurements while they're on board. So as you can imagine, the inside of this aircraft doesn't look like any plane you would take on vacation. It's a flying laboratory that we took to make measurements in the region of this molecule. We do all of this to understand the chemistry of one molecule, and when one student like me has some sort of inclination or understanding about that molecule, they write one scientific paper on the subject. And out of that field campaign, we'll probably get a few dozen papers on a few dozen processes or molecules. And as a body of knowledge builds up, it will form one subsection or one sub-subsection of an assessment like the IPCC, although we have others. And each one of the 11 chapters of the IPCC has 6 to 10 subsections. So you can imagine the scale of the effort. In each one of those assessments that we write, we always tag on a summary, and the summary is written for a non-scientific audience, and we hand that summary to journalists and policymakers in order to make headlines.